What's going on, YouTube? We're back in it for another video. Today we've got the best stash spots you can hit inside of Zaton. There is a lot of good loot to be found out here, including those blueprints, new armor upgrades, any number of different weapons to find, along with a lot of them being upgraded and having different attachments on them as soon as you grab them up. It's a plethora of solid loot out here, especially if you're just coming into the zone. There's a lot of things you can pick up as you're walking in and be a huge benefit to yourself. With that being said, we've got a lot of things to cover, so let's get straight into it. Now, the first location that we're going to hit, or the first stash spot, is going to be at the railway maintenance facility, which is going to be one of the first locations that you'll hit after coming out of Wild Island and just entering into the Zaton. But over here at this railway, we'll come over to this building over here on the left, and we've actually got two stash spots to hit over here. Just across the way, we'll be heading over to this other building after we've unlocked the door code over here. But once you've made it over to this building over here, you'll notice you've got to put a code in over on the door at this little, I guess, little checkpoint building. But the code's going to be 2468, and inside may be something of a substantial upgrade for you, as this piece of armor is going to be something that gives you a bit more of that physical protection and a good bit of those elemental and radiation protections. I'm actually going to slot it on myself, as it is a bit of an upgrade from the broken armor I have right now. I don't imagine there's a lot of people out there that are still incapable of fully repairing a lot of their pieces of armor, so thankfully there's more than a few sets that we'll start finding along the way, and if you can try to keep up with the upgrades or keep up with the repairs on these armors, it can be more beneficial for you. But in the long run, there's so many different things that cause so much damage to it that your best bet's generally just to constantly replace it with new armors that we'll find, and we've got plenty of them in this video. Now, there is also some resources to grab up in here. Don't forget to grab up any of that. You can never go wrong with having too many of all the healing items, band-aids, any bit of the ammunition. This is all, or these are all things that can end up either in surplus, giving you more money or coupons, and just helping you along the way. But from this point, we'll be heading over to the other building across the way, and this is where we're also going to get a substantial upgrade when it comes down to our firepower. As inside here, once we make our way in over to the left, some people may miss this one, but over here on the ground we've got the SOFMOD, which is going to be a fully kitted AR with a ton of different mods on it. This thing is quite the powerhouse right here, and it's going to be a very nice upgrade for you. If you haven't been using an AR in the period or in the past and you've been saving up that AR ammo like I have, once I found this, it's a pretty nice choice to just slot in and be able to utilize for this area. And from that point, we'll also have a good bit of those resources, so don't forget to pick those up. The next location we'll be hitting also has two stash spots in it, and it'll be just south of the railway maintenance facility at these two buildings over here, and the first one we'll be hitting is just at this north building over here, but let's head over there now. Now, once you've made it over to the facility at the south, we'll be heading straight through the gate, and over on our right is going to be the building that we'll need to access. Now, inside here, there is quite a bit of resources when it comes down to food, ammo, water, vodka. All of these different resources are all over the place, and I'd highly suggest going through each one of these, but for the video, we won't be doing all that. What we'll need to do is head over to this little bench over here, and this small shelf that's only half high, and then we'll walk along over here, and you can jump across over here if you want to, just to be, you know, basically on the same level of it, but you don't have to be on top to actually loot this. But inside here we'll actually have a blueprint for an SVA suit, which gives us a temporary bit of protection for a short period of time. Not sure what this is exactly, I don't remember finding this suit just yet, but apparently this seems something like a shielding process, since it acts as akin to a Faraday cage. But we'll see about that in the future, but having it right now and being able to upgrade that later on is going to be a huge benefit for us. And we'll just grab up the rest of those resources as well. Now, from that point, getting over to the second stash spot that we have over here, we're going to need to exit through the back door, and we'll be heading over here to the right, and the building in front of us is going to be the building where we'll also find some resources in. You can also get an artifact out of here if you'd like to. That one's going to be a random occurrence wherever that's going to spawn inside of here for you, so you'll need to pop out your scanner, but I would highly suggest getting that bolt out real quick, as we're going to need to move through some of these electrical fields. But coming in through this doorway on the right, we'll need to head over through this portion of the building, and then we'll need to head up this staircase over here, pop this electricity right here, run right on past, and we need to be up here on top, and just in front of us is going to be the stash spot. Somewhere down below is where you're going to find that artifact, but just in front of us, we'll need to make sure that we have plenty of stamina, as we're going to need to make this jump across. But pop that electricity, start running, make that jump, And just over here, we're going to have a fully furnished MAC-10, an optical gas mask, and another optical gas mask. So this stash spot is actually pretty nice. We're having some of that duplicate armor, or maybe you've got a better helmet than both of these. These are going to be 2 of them that you can just straight up sell for coupons, and it's going to be a nice little haul when it comes down to just making a profit off of this run, as well as getting an artifact that could also be a duplicate as well that you could sell. So this one spot not only is giving you the blueprint, but it's also giving you quite a bit when it comes down to being able to make a profit off of this run. Now the next stash spot that we're going to hit is just going to be east of the railway maintenance. We're going to head over here to the Izum Radun. I don't even know how to pronounce this, but it's going to be this little hut over here, and there's going to be some type of triangular building over here on the right, and that's going to be the place that we'll need to go. So let's head over there now. Now once you've made it to the location, by all means, you can choose to open up this safe if you would like to, but there is going to be a mutant cat inside of it that can be very irritating to deal with, so I'd highly suggest not opening this safe. This is one of those that definitely is won by the devs for a little bit of a trick on you, which can be a little bit funny, but it can be troublesome. The real loot is going to be done or obtained by walking up onto the rooftop, falling into this hole on the rooftop, and over here on our right we'll have a chest which is going to include a shotgun called the Predator. Now whether or not this weapon is more damaging or has a higher DPS output than some of the other shotguns is still up in the air. I honestly didn't notice a huge difference with this, but if anybody knows that whether or not this actually has a boost or significant boost to its lethality like it does say in the description, let me know down in the comments below and I'll pin that up there. But in the long run, it's going to be another shotgun for you that's full durability, whether or not it's going to be something to add to your collection or possibly another bit of those coupons in the pocket. That's going to be up to you. But once you've grabbed up that loot, we'll just need to head right behind us and over to this door, unlock it, and walk right on out. Our next stash spot is just going to be a little bit southeast of that, next to the gas station and the claw location. Over here we've got the fences drop. This one is actually pretty difficult to find if you don't know where it is or if you don't have the stash icon, as you will need to drop off the side of this cliff over here and then jump into a cave. But let's head over there now, starting at the gas station. And once we've made it over to the gas station, we'll need to head over to the right side of it and jump over the crack in the ground over here. Just right of the fence line is where we're basically going, and we're going to be pushing over to where the claw location is. You'll notice we'll have a little bit of a dip in the ground over here before it opens up yet again with all these rock structures that are called the claw. And just over here, we'll notice one claw in front of us. I'll just open the map real quick to kind of zoom in on this location. Just right here is where we're going to be dropping down from, and this is the only way to access this cave and without breaking our legs. And we'll jump down a little bit, and over to our left we've got another one of those rock structures to climb on, and you'll notice the cave entrance in front of us. Now you cannot access this from the ground. I've tried to jump several times to get it. You will have to jump down from the ledge and onto these rock structures to be able to jump straight in. And we will have some anomalies in here, so we'll need to pop that real quick. Gonna have to crouch as well, so we'll wait for that to pop back up. Pop it again, there'll be another one to pop, and then just behind that we've got our loot stash right here, which is gonna be a good bit of that 454 or 545 ammo. Goodness, dyslexia. A little bit of resources behind that, and a full durability FORA 221. Now, the FORA 221 is not going to be one that ends up being anything special other than the full durability, so it's one you can put in the collection, upgrade later, or possibly just sell off for some coupons. Now, from that point to exit, we'll just need to pop another one of those anomalies, walk right on out, and be able to head down here into this pile of anomalies that does have an artifact in it if you want to find that, but you'll need to pop your scanner out in order to find that yourself. Our next stash location is going to be northeast of that gas station, just underneath this swamp area. You'll notice there's 3 little piers over here and a little bit of a squared off building. That is going to be our next location. And over here, fair warning, there will be some enemies as soon as you do get here, and a little bit of a side quest. I'll try to make it brief and not try to spoil it for you, but overall, as soon as you get there, you're going to be in a gunfight, and it's going to be quite a few enemies, so be prepared for that. Now, once you've made it over to the location and taken out all the enemies, over here on our left in the window is the guy you'll need to talk to in order to start the side quest, but we're just going to head straight over for the stash, as the stash is going to give you what you need to complete the actual side quest, as well as the weapon attachment that we're wanting. Now we'll head over to the left side of the building, as there's a ladder that we'll need to climb up on top of, and from this point we'll need to pop out that bolt, as there's more than a few electrical anomalies up here that we'll need to pop. Now you can go through the right side, but there's two different anomalies, one that's hidden right after. It's a little bit troublesome if you don't have both of these popped, and if you're weighed down a little bit, it can be irritating to make it through that route. The left side is going to be a bit safer, as we'll just be able to walk straight on through and easily be able to see where those electrical anomalies are, and then pop our way through. And from this point, once we get to the back side of the building, over here on the left side is where our stash spot's going to be, and inside here is going to be the key that we'll need for the side quest, as well as the coupled AKM-74 magazine. Now this will work on both the AKM-74U and the 74S, and I prefer this to the high capacity mag. It's so much faster on the reload with this. Now it's a little bit slower once you do reload after the second time, as you'll need to pop up another of the two coupled magazines. So in those moments, if you do hit reload again just to get that 31 instead of 30 where it pops on another magazine after you've chambered the round, that can kind of hinder you a little bit in a way, or at least negate the actual effect of the fast mag. But if you don't do it in those moments during combat, it can be quite noticeable at how fast it is to reload to that next magazine. Now our next stash spot is going to be southeast of this location, over at this sunken down city over here inside of this broken building. Won't be too far, we'll basically just need to take the road all the way down until we make it to that location, and you'll notice which house it is, as it's basically going to be broken in half and sinking into this little swamp area. But let's head over there now. And once you've made it over to the location, you'll know you'll be at the right spot if you see the car out back, and the house is basically just broken in half, sinking into the actual water or swamp over here. And we'll just need to go to the back of the house, and you'll notice these three boxes with a little bit of a ramp going up from what looks like a gate for the fence. We'll just need to jump on top of the roof. Now the easiest way to get this done is to pretty much just look at where this ball is and just walk forward. You're going to walk straight into it, and then from this point you'll have a Viper 5 full durability, as well as an OZK Explorer's suit and a little bit of resources over here. Now the OZK Explorer's suit really isn't all that great, honestly. It's just something that has a little bit less weight to it, and a whole lot less when it comes down to the radiation and physical protection. So this is something that's more along the lines of being something worthwhile for just grabbing up for some coupons and then heading over to one of the two ships and just selling it off. And having a Viper 5 at full durability is another thing that just nets a good bit of those coupons. Now the next stash location that we're going to be hitting is all the way south towards what used to be a shipping container port. This is going to be in the building to the right of the cranes over here and just east of the Sultansk. And once you've made it over to the location, it'll just be to the left of these cranes inside of this building, and we'll just need to go over to the left portion of this building. We'll turn on our flashlight, as we've got a little bag over here that we'll need to dig in and get a few resources in, but the important part is the blueprint here for the VS VINTAR, which is the return mechanism sleeve tightener, which is going to increase its muzzle velocity. But on top of getting that blueprint for the VS, we'll also be able to actually have a fully furnished VS VINTAR over here with full durability. Now, it may not have anything of the special attachments attached to it, but you'll be able to build it up from here, and you'll have that additional upgrade from it, or from that blueprint specifically. Or you can just sell it out for some coupons. The next stash spot that we're going to hit after that is going to be southeast of the port crane. There'll be a little ship over here on the map inside of this little swamp area, and that's where we're going to be heading next. So let's head over there now. And once we've made it over to the location, you'll notice we have a front door that we'll need to access in. Be careful with this one. Open from the side. There is a shotgun trap, and there is another one just behind it, so we'll need to disarm that really quickly. And you can unload the ammo as well, just to get a little bit more of that bonus from this. But the big item that we're getting is the M860 cracker over here. Having another one of those shotguns just available for sale or upgrade for ourselves. The rest of it really is just going to be a good bit of resources, but there is one other item at the very top that might be of value later on. I still don't know whether or not it's something that I need to hold on in my stash, but I've been holding on to every one of them. But as we make it all the way up through here, we'll need those bolts in order to clear out some of those electrical anomalies. But all the way up here at the top, we'll have a stash full of more resources, but the one item that I'd say might be important is the non-stop limited edition energy drink. I don't know whether or not there's something special about these in the future that's possibly a side quest, or something that's just a little bit of a callback maybe, but it's just something that I just keep holding on to, and maybe it's worth value later on. Our next stash location is going to be pretty far east, all the way on basically the edge of the map towards the fog over here. You'll notice we're pretty far down below, just above the swamp area, but just over here you'll notice there's a little house location over here that has more than a few ports on it, and we'll head over there now. Now, once you've made it to the location, you may find more than a few dead bodies, but the thing that we'll be actually going for is heading around back, heading inside of the house, opening it up, and we'll find a little stash bag inside of here with a high-capacity FORA 221 and KHAROD magazine. Haven't seen the KHAROD, or whatever that weapon particularly is, but a high-capacity mag for both of those weapons is going to be pretty valuable, or maybe you could possibly just sell this off as some vendor trash. Up to you, but for me personally, I'm looking to get every piece of attachments that I can possibly have for any one of these weapons. Now, the next stash location we're going to be heading to is just northwest of that location. We'll be heading over to what looks like a little bit of a crane over here, and we'll be looking for a shipping container in specific once we get over here. But let's head over there now. Now, once you get over here, I forgot to mention that there is a poltergeist ghost that you will need to eliminate before we can actually get to the loot itself. Hopefully we can take this out pretty quickly, but anytime you're dealing with one of these polties, oh god, let's not let that hit us. Try to avoid getting hit by some of his levitation, telekinesis, whatever you'd like to call it. But the way that we're going to kill this guy is just by following his little ghost orb self, and he will be dropping some electrical... Oh, we took that out pretty quickly. Wow, that's probably the fastest I've ever done it. But you'll just need to follow that floating orb. He can be a nuisance if you don't take him out very quickly. But from that point, where we're going to actually need to go is just right here. We'll blow up that little canister right there, and that's where we're going to be jumping up onto these crates and getting inside to get our new piece of armor. Now, from this point, we'll jump over across, and then jump over onto the crate in front of us, and just inside here we've got a new piece of armor, the PSZ 5D Universal Protection, which actually is a pretty solid piece of armor. Now, the Universal Protection may not be as powerful as the Hawk, but it is still a solid armor set, considering it does still have 3 slots for the artifacts, and you can actually build that to have more slots in the future, so it does end up having its pro versus con moment where you can have more artifacts even though it does have less of the elemental protection and the radiation protection. Now, the Universal Protection may not be as great as the Hawk, but it does have the pro of having 3 slots for artifacts, which this gives you more versatility with actually making a build for your character when it comes to slotting in the artifacts, even though it does have the less elemental resistances as well as the radiation protection. But overall, it's one of those moments where you can either slot this in to replace your Hawk if you want more of the artifacts, more build diversity, or you could possibly just use this for additional coupons selling at the vendor. Our next stash location is going to be northwest of the ranger station over at this barge that is sunken into this swamp. Now, we will be getting a new weapon over here, so let's head on over. Now, once you've made it over to the location, you want to head along the reeds over here to make it in a little bit smoother, as there's some deeper water over here in the swamps, but we'll head to the back of the barge itself to get up on top of this ladder, then head underneath this pipe over here on our left, and then head up this ladder over here. Now, from that point, we'll start walking on this little metal walkway over here that I'd never walk on personally myself in real life. But from that point, we'll be able to head on to the inside, and over here on our left is where we're going to get our new weapon, full durability GP37 or G36C, whatever you'd like to call it. And right next to that, we'll also have a crate that just has a bit more of those resources in it. Nothing really special about the GP37. It's just going to be a stock 100% durability weapon that you can either sell off, store in the stash, or possibly upgrade later to your own liking. It's up to you. Personally, right now, the VS VINTAR is actually probably one of the better guns inside of the game so far when it comes to DPS output. But I'd imagine the GP37 might be competing with the SOFMOD. The only issue being that that sight is just something I'm not the biggest fan of, and it just takes up a large portion of the screen. But let me know down in the comments below how you're feeling about it. Now, our next stash location is going to be northeast of this location at this port over here on the front of this boat. But what I would highly suggest is that you head back over to the Sultansk, talk to the bartender here, and then she'll give you a side quest to go talk to the boss man over here. He'll give you a side quest that goes all the way back to go into this building on the back end of this. This way you can complete the side quest, get a much better scanner, or the best scanner in the game, the one that has basically 100-meter range on finding some of those artifacts or locations where an artifact may be. That way when you're running around, you can just have that out and have the capability of picking up on these much easier. But on top of that, you're getting the coupons and you're getting the stash, the side quest done. It's going to benefit you in the long run and getting everything done in just one run. And once you've made it over to the location, we'll just need to head on into the gate, and you want to get out that bolt, as we're going to have a couple of things to deal with. There may be a couple of mutant dogs over here as well, so do be on the lookout for that. But over here, there's going to be a bunch of those whirlwind traps, or those anomalies, so you want to make sure you got that bolt out, because these can fling you pretty hard, and they'll kill you pretty quick by throwing you straight into the ship. I've had it happen to myself. It is a bit comical the first time, but other times it just gets to be quite irritating. But we'll be able to displace those pretty quickly. Head along this right side over here. We've got one more in front of us that we should be able to just walk straight around. And then there's one more just before that. And then we're golden going into the ship itself. Oh, wait. We got caught by one more. Now, you can just jump right on out of it, but some of them can be pretty deadly if they just catch you off guard. But from this point, we'll head up the ladder, and if you're looking to do the side quest, then well, we'll just get it done right here as well. We'll just come up to the top of this. It's like the very first portion of the game where we just open up this research facility type bunker thing. I don't know what to call it other than a bunker. But from this point, we'll open it up and we'll be able to climb down in, and we'll actually be able to access the new scanner inside of here, along with the briefcase that we'll need. Now we'll just equip that new scanner. It's definitely one that I would highly suggest, especially if you're trying to farm out some of those artifacts or really try to find some of those key locations where they might be while you're just moving around from zone to zone. But right after that, once we've taken the briefcase, we'll head over to this direction in order to actually exit this building. But before we walk out, this is where we'll end up being caught up with a couple of people that will say either give us the briefcase or, you know, just don't give it to them and kill them. Now, I generally choose to just kill them every time. I know a little bit about what happens after this. It's going to be up to you whether or not you want to actually give it over to them and not get the coupons later on. I honestly don't know what happens on the other end, but I will be making a guide video on what does happen with the other choice later on. So if you're on the lookout for that, or possibly want to save before this moment to kind of get the understanding as to whether or not one side's going to be better for you or not, or just to see what happens on the other side, that's up to you. But for right now, we're just going to walk out here, talk to them, tell them that we're not giving them the briefcase, and then just clean them up really quickly. Now, they do have a little bit of loot on them. You can get the SPAS 12, but the big thing that we're looking for is just hitting that stash spot, which is going to be at the front of the boat. So we'll head up this staircase over here, and then the staircase on the left, and over on our right, we'll notice some boxes over here as well as some boards. And inside here, we're going to get the Marauder suit and some HERCULES. Now, HERCULES, if you don't know what this is actually I guess like some type of supplement you can take to increase your maximum carry weight by 20 for about 5 minutes. But on top of that, we'll also have some resources inside here. The Marauder suit isn't bad. It's not the greatest thing. It's one of those things that I'd consider vendor trash. I'm going to sell it off for some coupons, but it's up to you whether or not you want to keep this in the back pocket for something you can use later on if you just got too many of those repair costs up and you just need something with a little bit of that additional protection that's not broken. And for our final stash locations, we are going to be going north of the actual boat location we were just at this facility up here. There is multiple locations we'll need to hit, but we'll be starting off from this gate entrance over here, and we'll head over there now. Now, from that gate over on our left, there is going to be a building that has a door code on it. You can access this by typing in the code 4824, and you'll get access inside of here. The only thing that you'll actually get that's of value inside of here is going to be 2 HERCULES, and even then, this is only going to be for people like me that are like extreme loot hoarders that are just looking for maximum loot. I go out on a run, and I'm just packed to the brim with every bit of the resources, guns, armor, and everything. So it's nice to have those moments to increase my capability of carry weight by 20 for 5 minutes. But if you're not somebody like that, it's more than likely going to be a waste. But from that point, we'll also need to head to the back of this building, jump up on top, and get our trusty bolt out, as there's more than a few electrical anomalies up here that we'll need to pop before getting our next item, which may be a bit more substantial for you, which is the SVDM2. You know, you can't go wrong with having a full durability. Oh goodness, there's a couple of zombies over there. Can't go wrong with having an SVDM2 for fully upgrading, storing in the stash if your other SVDM goes into the repair state where you just can't afford it, or maybe just getting some additional coupons. Now, if you would like to know how we ended up getting the door code, we'll showcase that now by heading over to the building over on our left. We'll have to take out a couple of these zombies. Shouldn't be too hard, especially with this AR that we got at the beginning of the video. But I'm going to showcase the power of the AS VINTAR inside of here versus one of those mind control zombies or mutants that we have inside here. And if you want a bit of a deeper background on how we actually get the door code, we'll have to kill the mutant inside here for the collar to get the door code. But this is all about just showcasing the raw power of the AS VINTAR. Now, after killing a couple of those zombies, we got more than a few of them inside of here that we'll need to take out. We'll also need to end up taking a psi blocker, that way this guy doesn't get into our head and start causing us even more problems. But before we go in, we're going to make sure that we're taking out some of those zombies. Some of them may take additional rounds to the face because I believe they may apparently have some type of helmet armor on. But now we're going to pull out the AS VINTAR. Now with this, we have the expansive rounds. I need to make that clear, as that's what's giving us the additional damage we're looking for with this weapon. Let's try to make sure he doesn't grab us. But accuracy is going to be the number one thing with this. We'll move over to the left. We've just dumped in 10 rounds. All right. He's going to start moving away from us now. He's going to try to get away. Now let's get the angle on him. Ah, goodness, I swear. With the controllers, sometimes it feels like the sensitivity is just awful. Now we put in 20 rounds now. He's grabbed us. He's going to start moving away. We've got a couple of zombies coming up the staircase. He's going to move over to the left. So he's going to make himself... Ah, goodness, that reload animation. Killing the video right here. But, as you can see, less than 30 rounds we're actually able to take him down. Like, that just popped him right in the face right there. It's unbelievable power with the AS VINTAR. We'll take out the rest of these guys. It's just 2 shots generally, mostly to any enemy. But right there, we'll be able to get the collar off him, and that'll give us the collar tag text. And that's how we actually got the door code for that building over there. But from this point, we're going to heal up real quick, and then start heading down the staircase as we've got a couple of things to get. Oh, goodness, there goes that bug again. Sometimes I'll use an item, and then for whatever reason, it just won't actually consume the item. Let me know down in the comments below if you've been having that same issue. But we'll exit out of this building, get the AR out, and start heading over to the left side. Now, from this point, we'll need to head into this ditch over here. If you'd like an artifact, there's actually one that you can gain access to over here on our left. You'll just have to pop out your scanner and get that. But that's going to be on your own time right there. But from this point, we're going to head all the way down into this ditch. We're going to pop an energy drink because this is a pretty long distance we'll be going. We'll have to go to the other end of this ditch over here in order to get our next item, or next stash in a way. And then we've got another one that we'll have to backtrack to the middle of this ditch for, and then we'll be on to our last stash after that. Best bet, though, is to follow the reeds. You never want to get stuck in too much of the swamp water. Some portions of it can be pretty deep, and it will slow you down, especially if you've got a lot of carry weight on you. But just down here at the other end, we'll get the MOONLIGHT artifact. So that's going to give us either some currency or something that'll give you a little bit more when it comes down to your build diversity. I can't remember specifically what this was. It's electrical protection by medium, but you'll need some type of medium radiation protection to counter the radiation increase from that. But from that point, we'll be heading along the right side, looking for one of these vents over on our right to climb into, and it'll be right here. And once we're inside here, we'll head over to our left and climb down into this tunnel. At the other end of this, we will have some of those shards anomaly, so do be careful. You'll need to go a little bit slow once we go into this room, otherwise you'll get some of that, what do you call it? I guess bleed damage from it. It'll be over there on the right. And from that scanner, we'll get the CILIATE artifact, which is going to give us some chemical protection by medium. This one's honestly one that I'd probably just sell off, honestly. And over here on our left, we'll get a little bit more of those resources. And on our right, we'll get a PDA that gives us a bit more background on the story as to why this is down here. Now, from this point, have your weapon at the ready, as we will be going up a ladder on our left, and then we'll end up in a moment of a crossfire between the two, or between two factions that are across each side of the ditch itself. So we'll end up needing to take out some of the ward members on our side in order to make sure we don't get just completely chewed through with some of those rounds. But just behind us, you'll notice they're about to start popping off, and we're just going to eliminate them really quickly before they start taking us out. Goodness, that flinch right there. But with that AR we got at the beginning of the game, it makes it a whole lot easier. Now from this point, over in front of us is going to be the final loot location. Now I'm going to skip forward here in a moment because before you go over here, be ready with some type of shotgun. I'll put mine on right now over the ASVAL, as there's going to be 2 of those invisible bloodsuckers that you'll have to deal with over here. So keep that in mind, have some health kits available, maybe grab the ammo down there before heading in here, as the shotgun's probably going to be your best bet at taking them out, and it sounds like they've already been alerted by me. But let's finish them off real quick, and then I'll tell you where to find the loot. Now after you've taken down those mutants, we'll be able to access the building over here on the left of us, the one that we came up through that entrance from, or that little hole in the wall. And over on our right is where we're going to find our final loot location. And it's just going to be the PSZ 5V Guardian or Freedom Suit, which is still a solid... Oh goodness, I pulled up the wrong thing. Which is still a solid armor set. It's not going to be as good as the Hawk when it comes down to some of the radiation protection and the elemental protections, but you can't go wrong with having this in the back pocket or possibly just selling it off for some extra coupons. But right next to that, we'll also have a bit of resources to grab up. And that's going to be everything for the Zaton region right there. Hopefully this has helped you out, guys. Hopefully this has given you more than a few things that'll help you out in your run and progressing through the storyline. There was a lot of god tier loot out here and some weapon attachments and blueprints that are really going to be a banger if you're able to grab those up as you're going through the story. It'll definitely help out quite a bit. Let me know down in the comments below if there was anything that I missed, or what is your favorite stash location that you've hit so far that's giving you the most bang for your buck. With that being said, if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to see some of this content live, hit that link down in the description. Follow me over at Twitch. We'll be streaming daily. And on that note, have a good one.